Hi, everybody. This is Alex Moser at Blue Corona. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. We are going to give it a couple more minutes, still waiting for a few people to join the webinar. So, again, 3 more minutes and I will get started. Thanks so much. Hey, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Alex Moser. I'm the Director of Account Development here at Blue Corona. Today, we're here to talk about staying compliant with Google My Business guidelines. First, some of you may be wondering what the heck is Blue Corona. We are a full-service digital marketing company, and today we're covering one of many hot topics in the digital marketing industry. For several of you on this webinar today are probably clients, and we are so excited to have you here. And for those of you who aren't clients, we're excited to share with you some pretty important information about your Google My Business listing. We want to make sure it stays active and compliant and continues to get you visits to your website and leads. First, before I get started, some housekeeping items. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please toggle to the questions arrow at the bottom of the GoToWebinar panel located on your screen, and you can type your question in there. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll do my best to answer as many of the questions that come in as possible. So there should be a tiny little questions section at the bottom of your GoToWebinar panel. Type in any questions there. I'll get to them at the end. Okay, with that, let's get started. So a quick agenda. Today, I'm going to go through Google My Business suspensions, what they are, what we've seen, the types of suspensions that exist and the consequences of them, some common reasons why your Google My Business listing may get suspended, and then how to fix it, how to re-verify your Google My Business page, get unsuspended. Okay. All right, so here's what we've seen so far. So we've seen, and it's been confirmed within the local SEO community, that there have been a large increase in Google My Business suspensions across all industries and markets. They first started in late May and early June this year, and they seem to be continuing through late June, early July. A suspension means that your Google My Business listing will not be allowed to show up alongside your competitors when somebody searches for a relevant keyword, a keyword relevant to your business. And that can include somebody searching your business name. So think about that. If your Google My Business listing is suspended, it's not showing up anymore, that can mean a loss of leads. People calling you straight from that listing. It can mean a loss of visits to your website, and potentially having all those great Google My Business reviews that you have. It can result in a loss of those reviews forever. So this is a pretty important topic today. Also worth noting, Google doesn't proactively alert you when your listing has been suspended. You basically have to actively and frequently monitor your Google My Business profile to figure out when it has been suspended or if something may be wrong. And so as a result of this increase in suspensions, response times from Google have been incredibly delayed, as in 2 to 3 weeks or longer in some cases. So resolution times are also taking pretty long. So the point of the webinar today is to make sure that your listing doesn't get suspended, and make sure that you're in compliance with Google's policies. Okay. Okay. So what this means, a suspension can mean many not great things for your business. The first is a decrease in leads. For many people, the Google My Business listing will be tied to their Google pay-per-click campaign or Google Local Services ads campaigns, in which case, you can be getting leads directly through those campaigns and like the information that's pulled in from your Google My Business listing. You also get plenty of visibility and leads directly in the Google organic search results from your Google My Business listing. And so having that listing suspended, again, can mean lead decreases. That's a source of leads that is going away if it's suspended. Next, a rankings decrease. The Google My Business listing does have an impact on how you're ranking in the organic search results. So that listing going away can affect your organic rankings on Google. This is a tough one. The removal of reviews. You spend a lot of time making your customers happy, and asking them for reviews on Google. And once you get those reviews are critical to your business. So many people use those reviews to decide to work with your company or one of your competitors. And so the thought of having those reviews gone forever is not a good one. We don't want that to happen. And finally, without the Google My Business listing, your company won't show up in the local pack in the organic search results on Google and in the Google Maps. Okay, so all things that you don't want to have happen. And so let's make sure that your Google My Business listing stays active. Okay, let's go through the different types of suspensions. So Google reserves the right to and does change their Google My Business criteria from time to time. Google My Business is Google's product, right? So they can do whatever they want. They call the shots. If your Google My Business listing has been suspended, you first need to identify whether or not it's a soft suspension or a hard suspension. So a soft suspension isn't as bad, right? Your listing can go unverified due to quality issues, quality violations, but your listing is still active on Google and on Google Maps. Okay, and that means that your customers can still find the listing, which is good. You still got to correct what's wrong in the listing and get it reinstated via a request with Google. Hard suspension is much worse. In that case, again, your listing goes unverified, but it's due to a policy violation. And in that case, your listing is removed from Google and Google Maps, and therefore your customers can't see it. So it's a big problem. Again, the next step is you got to correct what's wrong and then submit that reinstatement request to Google. Okay, so now I want to talk about the consequences of a suspension. And I want to note that these are potential consequences, and they're not guaranteed consequences. One or more of these things may happen, or none of them, depending on how quickly the suspension is identified and resolved. All right, so the consequences: your Google My Business page can go unverified. It can become inaccessible to the public, to your customers. Obviously, it can result in a decrease or loss of rankings on Google in the Google search results. It can result in a decrease or loss of map listings. The reviews, Google reviews, can go away, and of course, a decrease in local services rankings. That's those pay-per-lead ads on Google, the Google local services ads, and it can result in a loss of leads or decrease in leads. All right, now let's talk about why your listing may be suspended. Okay, so listings on Google My Business can only be created for businesses that either have a physical location that customers can visit, or businesses that travel to the customer's location and provide the service or product there. So creating a successful listing that won't be suspended requires avoiding prohibited content and accurately reflecting your business and complying with the rest of Google's policies, right? So there are many reasons why your Google My Business page, might be suspended or could get suspended. Today, I'm going to go through the most common reasons. Okay. So first, it's an ineligible business type. Again, I'll walk through everything at the top of this list, everything in bold, in subsequent slides. So the first is ineligible business types. Next is ownership. You could have a business description issue. You could have an issue with the name, address, website, phone number, business hours that you have in your listing. You can have an issue with the business category, and then a handful of other things. You're promoting illegal activities, you're running contests, you have a menu, like for a restaurant, and so on. But again, today we're going to talk about these top things, the big ones. Okay, so the first one, ineligible business types. One of the quickest ways to be suspended is if your business is not an eligible business type to even be on Google My Business in the first place. The big ones here: rental properties, vacation homes, for sale properties, and then also, an ongoing service or class or a meeting at a location that you don't actually own or have the authority to represent. I think this is a pretty easy box for everyone on this webinar to check off, as each of you most likely represent, a local business and not a business that qualifies as one of these. So you're probably good there. Next, ownership. So let's walk through the different types of ownership violations. The first one is that somebody non-representative of your company could have created the listing, right? So, for example, I create a listing for a business I don't work for. The business, the business hasn't hired me, outsourced me to create this listing. I have no affiliation with the business. That sort of listing could get removed. So, if you have any Google My Business listings that were potentially created by employees, you don't have access to them, take an inventory of the Google My Business listings you have and make sure that as the owner of the company, you have access to it. You own the listing. Next, false, misleading, unrealistic claims. For example, a landscaping company promotes a 50% discount on month one of their lawn care package, and they're doing that to get more clicks and leads from the listing, but then they only offer a 10% discount. That would be false advertising. Finally, the last one, untrustworthy tactics, abusive content, and so on. That one's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so those first two, we don't really need to walk through how to do it the right way. It's pretty self-explanatory, but now let's go into the business description and some of the ones where it is a little easier to get into trouble. Okay, so the next one, business description. Business description in your Google My Business profile is a brief paragraph about your company and the products and services that your company sells to your clients. Business descriptions can violate Google's policies for one of these various reasons. So let's go through them. First, you can have a misleading description, right? Where you're talking about products, services, service areas that you do work in, or any other information that actually don't represent your company accurately. So make sure everything in the description is actually correct. Next, low quality, irrelevant content, distracting content. So just like in your SEO campaigns, you want your Google My Business listing to include high quality, accurate, information rich content, content that's helpful to your prospective customers. So think about posting images unrelated to your business or memes or any other low quality or distracting content that can result in a suspended listing. All right, if you put a heavy focus on any special offers or promotions or prices in your description, posting these things in your description is allowed, but posting it too much, putting a heavy focus on it, is likely to get you suspended. It shouldn't be the only content you publish. Think of this description as like a resource for your customers, not a comprehensive advertising channel, right? Google is frowning upon using this Google My Business platform to push sales and discounts too heavily. Okay. The next one, offensive or inappropriate content. That one, again, is pretty self-explanatory, but think any not safe for work content or language, any political speech, that kind of stuff falls within this category. Keep it out. And any unpermitted content, anything else that falls outside of Google My Business's description guidelines. So now let's talk about, instead of focusing on what not to do, let's talk about how to best optimize your Google My Business profile when it comes to this description. Okay. So there are a few top best practices, but don't overthink it. Just think you want to provide searchers, prospective customers, with valuable information about your company and why your company is the best in town. Just think of it that way. That'll do the trick. Okay. So first, you want to highlight what makes your business unique. Think service areas, differentiators, accreditations. You want to provide useful information to your customers. What are your products and or services? Where do you service? What is your service area? Think mission statement, company history, who are the owners of the business. And finally, you want to use relevant keywords throughout the business description to talk about the products and services that you provide. Right? You got to use those keywords. But when it comes to keywords, just like SEO, you don't want to stuff your business description with keywords. No keyword stuffing here. Keyword stuffing was an old SEO tactic from many years ago that used to work. It's not good now. Use enough keywords so that Google and your prospective customers know what your business does, but don't overdo it. Okay? All right. On to the next reason why your business may be suspended. Your Google My Business listing may get suspended. This is the name, website, phone number, business hours portion. So one big one is the company name in the Google My Business listing. If it doesn't match, the company name on your signage, on your website, and so on, it can be suspended. Google may think that this isn't the same company. So you really want to pay attention to how your business is listed in the company name itself. Every so often, you'll see a Google My Business listing where there's the company name and then a hyphen. After the hyphen is like a list of the products or services that company sells, and that's all seemingly in the business name. You don't want to do that. Just simply your business name. Okay, next, your business address is wrong. Like maybe you actually have the address wrong, missing a suite number. PO boxes are not allowed. Places of residence can be an issue, and we can talk about that later. But make sure that the address itself is correct. Next, we've seen several where the link to the website may not work. So just make sure that one's right. Inconsistent phone numbers that don't match your other phone numbers. And then finally, misleading or incorrect business hours. Okay? So again, let's focus on what you can do right here. How do you make sure that your information is up to date and complies with Google's guidelines? Okay, so first you want to display prominent signage in your Google My Business listing. So if you have a sign outside of your building with your company name on it and the address, the number address, the street address, take a picture of that and upload it to your Google My Business listing. You got to show Google that we are the company we say we are in the location we say we are, right? Next, you do want to have a real physical mailing address, not just a PO box. Again, Google is starting to suspend Google My Business listings with PO boxes. Next, you want to update your business hours regularly, and that does include holidays. So if you're closed for July 4th or Labor Day, make sure to put that, to just go update it on that day or the day before, saying that you're going to be closed that day. Provide a link to your website, a link that actually works. And then you want to add your primary phone number to the listing. So those of you who are clients of Blue Corona, you know, of course, that we do all sorts of phone call tracking for all of your different advertising, marketing, digital marketing campaigns so that we can see which campaigns are working to drive leads and which ones aren't. And the phone piece of that is a huge piece. And so we have a unique phone number for different types of campaigns. So what we do with our Google My Business listings for our clients is, we have a tracked phone number, and then we also have their main business phone number. You can include both in the listing. So that's what I mean by primary phone number is your actual business phone number. Make sure that's in the listing as well. And then making sure you add all of those things to your website as well. Very importantly, that means adding schema markup to your website. So schema markup is, I'm going to go nerd speak now. Schema markup is an HTML coding that lives on your website, the back end of your website. It includes information about your business, like business name, address, phone number, etc. Schema clearly identifies your information for Google and for Google's, search engine crawler robots, right? So Google doesn't have to assume or figure out what your actual address is or what your actual company name is by reading the content of your site. You can tell Google right in the code with this schema markup who you are and the products and services you offer and your business hours and all that directly in that markup. And it's a much easier way of telling Google exactly what you're all about. Okay. All right, the next one is business categories. This is kind of an interesting one. So a couple ways you can be suspended because of the categories. First, using categories solely as keywords to rank better on Google. And next, using the categories inaccurately, like using categories that actually don't have anything to do with your business. So let me show you an example of that. And talk about what you can do right. Here's what the category section looks like on your Google My Business profile when you're going into your Google My Business profile and choosing the categories. This is sort of what it looks like, and this is what we would be doing for example, a roofing contractor. So you have basically a primary category, and then you can choose several additional categories. So you want to choose the primary category that's most relevant to your business. Right? So in this case, if it's a roofing contractor and they also do they provide these other products and services to their clients, but roofing is the biggest part of their business and the biggest part of their business they want to promote, they should choose roofing up here and then make sure to add additional categories only when applicable to supplement that top category. So when I say only when applicable, I'm meaning if you have multiple lines of business, again, add your secondary lines of business in the additional categories section. Only include additional products and services that you offer. Don't just go choosing anything with the word garage in it, for example. Okay. You want to use as few categories as possible, but make sure they are representative of the main part of your business. Okay, so let's say you got suspended. Let's talk about how to fix it, how to request reinstatement from Google. Okay, so first you want to review your listing for any content issues. Identify what are the issues that we have. You want to correct the content that's in violation, right? Either removing something that's in violation, rewriting your business description, deleting some of those bad business categories, whatever it is. Make the fix And then record evidence of the corrected content, right? Take screenshots before and after and all that. And then you want to submit a local business reinstatement request. So that's if you wanted to do it yourself. Of course, your digital marketing partner, if that's us, we can do it for you. And if you don't work with us, give us a shout. We can talk you through it. So that's all we have today. Now I'm going to open it up for any questions. So make sure to add your questions in the questions panel of the GoToWebinar, or the question section of the GoToWebinar panel. Okay, I got a first one. Can a home office be used as a Google My Business location? That's a great question. So yes, your home office can be used as your Google My Business location, but if you don't have a signage out front, and I mean a permanent sign, not a little sign that you can pick up and remove. If you don't have permanent signage with your company, name or logo, and the street address number on it, if you don't have a picture of that outside of your house uploaded to your Google My Business profile, there is still a chance that you could get suspended. So yes, your home office can have a Google My Business location. The signage is typically, could be an issue there. Okay, what constitutes signage? Great question. So signage, again, highly visible and a permanent sign. So something that can't be easily removed. It has to include your business name and or logo. Your business name or your logo, and also a picture with the street address right there as well. Does Google guarantee re-verification? Great question. No, Google does not guarantee re-verification. Your best course of action here, I'd say, is to work with your digital marketing partner. At Blue Corona, we're a Google Premier partner. We have an account team at Google that we work for on the ad side of things. We also have a direct line to Google My Business support team to resolve suspended listings. So, and this is what we do, right? This is our job. So I'd say your best bet is to go to your digital marketing partner for help with this. But again, Google does not guarantee verification. Does Blue Corona help re-verify Google My Business listings? Yes, of course we do. We can help you. We basically will do an assessment of if your listing is suspended, we'll do an assessment of the listing, like an audit of sorts, to identify all the potential issues that exist. We'll make our recommendations to you as to what we want to change. You give us the go ahead, we make the changes, and then we communicate with Google to get the listing reinstated. All right, bear with me. Trying to open up additional questions. When you say URL doesn't link to the website, have you noticed that Google My Business has been really sensitive with UTMs? UTMs, I assume you're talking about like the extra bits of code at the end. I actually don't have an answer on that one. That's a really good question. And so if you want to email me, alex@bluecorona.com at the end of this webinar, so I can reply with the answer that I get from my team, I would be happy to send that to you. All right. Can you list office hours as 24 hours if you have answering service available to take calls and forward to a person on duty? That is also a great question. I do not know the answer to that one. So again, I will send you answers to that one. If you email me, alex@bluecorona.com, so I have your email address, I will send that one around too. Okay, we are an online service with no physical office. Can we provide the address of a registered agent? I would say that is high likelihood that you may get suspended if you do something like that. But you can certainly try. Again, it sounds like it could potentially be an issue because you don't have a physical address. You'd have to put the physical address, on your website and all of that. So that one could be an issue. Okay. I think that's all that we have time for today. If you have any other questions, please email them to me, alex@bluecorona.com. If you have a suspended listing, please get in touch with us. We're happy to help you fix it. Again, and we start with an audit to look through the listing and identify all the potential issues and make recommendations to you as to how we would fix them. And then we contact Google on your behalf to get these listings reinstated. Again, I'm alex@bluecorona.com. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Really appreciate your time. Please review your Google My Business listings and make sure that you're in compliance so they don't go unverified or worse, get suspended. And this webinar will be recorded and added to our website and sent around to all the everybody who's joined today. So look out for an email from us with a link to this webinar. And again, email me, alex@bluecorona.com, if you have any further questions. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great afternoon. Bye.